Date nights look a little different these days. More PJs, fewer restaurants, and more often than not, with the whole family. So when you need something to make dinner a little more date-like, you know, the kind of dish that says, I still love you, even after spending 24 hours a day together for a whole year, look for Cremette Pasta. Each strand of Cremette is like a string of love, turning every dish into one that's date night worthy.
Find Cremette in the pasta aisle and visit cremette.com for creative recipes and more.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict Podcast. Please welcome your hosts, Patrick Allen and Matt Verderam.
Welcome in. This is the Arrowhead Addict Podcast. My name is Patrick Allen. All right, everybody. It is 2:09 p.m. Central Time on Friday. I've been counting down the hours until the Super Bowl. Take a deep breath, everybody. We're about to head into the weekend. Just got to get through this work day. Wanted to bring you some more Super Bowl week content ahead of the action. It's just going to be me today. So first, let's take a look at the injury report. Let me get that pulled up for you. So the Friday injury reports are out. So let's start with the Chiefs. Looks like Kansas City is only going into this game with 2 players with injury designations. Sorry about that. 3 technically. Eric Fisher is out. This is no surprise. He tore his Achilles. Willie Gay, who's been battling that knee and ankle injury, he has not practiced all week. He is listed as out. Le'Veon Bell, who has been dealing with that knee injury, he was limited all week in practice until Friday. Today, he was a full participant. He has no injury designation. Sammy Watkins, it was expected that he would be back for this game. A lot of people thought with the Chiefs that he would be back for the AFC Championship game. He was limited all week, but was a full participant today in practice. He has a questionable designation. So I guess probably they just want to make sure he doesn't have a backslide with that calf injury. But the fact that he was a full participant in practice today is a very good sign. If that doesn't flare up on him, we should see him on the field on Sunday. Other folks that you might have been worried about, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was a full participant in practice all week with that ankle and hip injury, so he looks good to go. Rashad Fenton, cornerback, had a foot. He's been a full participant all week. Mahomes with the toe, full participant all week, no injury designation. Mike Remmers, obviously really important given the state of the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. He's been dealing with a groin, but he was a full participant in practice, so that is good news. L'Jarius Sneed still on the injury report coming off his concussion. Everything's good there, full participant. Andrew Wiley has an ankle, full participant all week. And Darwin Thompson popped up on the injury report just today. He did not practice with an illness. No word, I don't think that's COVID related. He doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday, so probably not. Over on the Bucs side, they have 2 players with injury designations. Antonio Brown is questionable. He's been dealing with a knee injury that kept him out of the NFC Championship game. He's limited on Wednesday, but practiced fully on Thursday and Friday. So despite that questionable designation, he's probably going to be on the field for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. And Cameron Brate, the backup tight end, I don't know if he's the backup. Gronk, they've got Gronk, so I'm assuming he's the starter over there, but Brate gets in on the action as well and has been instrumental in helping them in the playoffs. He had a back injury that popped up on Thursday where he was limited and he did not practice on Friday and he's questionable. So that's an actual development here. I'll do a little bit more research and maybe put it out on Twitter if I can find out some more information there, but not great when it pops up there late in the week and then he doesn't practice on Friday. Friday, as you know, is that really crucial practice that they really expect people that practiced on Friday to play. That doesn't mean Brate won't be out there. He practiced on Wednesday, but we'll have to see how that all shakes out. They threw the ball to him a few times the first time the Bucs played the Chiefs, and it could be the tight end could be an important way for Tampa to move the ball, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. And Ndamukong Suh was not injury related. He did not practice on Friday, but he's on the report for not practicing, but no designation. So that's it. It looks like all of these people, as we talked about on yesterday's Super Bowl preview episode, which if you haven't listened to it yet, please dive in. We talked about a lot of different things. We previewed the Super Bowl. We talked about Marty Schottenheimer. It was one of my favorite all-time Arrowhead Addict podcast episodes. So check it out. It'll get you ready for Sunday, get you hyped up. And of course, you'll have our full game predictions, final score predictions in that episode. So that's it. This is the injury report, bearing any crazy unforeseen thing. It looks like all of these players will probably be on the field, all the key players anyway, and it'll be a knockdown drag out to win this Super Bowl. All right, I've got some sound for you guys. So, this week we brought you some sound from Jerry Rice and from former Kansas City Chiefs left tackle Willie Roaf, who said that the Chiefs are America's team. We've got some sound here from Hall of Fame guard Will Shields. Our guy Mark Carman talked to Will, I think it was today they spoke. It's a really, really interesting interview. I'm going to play the whole thing for you, and then I'll meet you on the other side, and we'll quickly discuss some of the things that they touched on. So without further ado, here's Mark Carman with Will Shields.
Will Shields, great to see you, the Hall of Famer. Appreciate the time. Well, let's start at the top here. You're working with Novo Nordisk. You don't look like a guy who played on the offensive line for 10, 15 plus years in the NFL. But this is something obviously that's important to you. And, a lot of your teammates obviously have battled some obesity, at least the guys that you were closest with.
Yeah. One of the things about it is about almost 3 years ago, I actually started on a eating regimen, and I sort of changed the way I was thinking about how I wanted to do things and how I wanted to sort of change what I wanted to be and how I wanted to be. And the thing about it is that it's been positive. It's been something that's awesome, and I call it more fun because now I get a chance to hunt for food and not food hunt for me, which is a cool thing, but also workout. It makes your workout easier. It makes your body feel better. But it's a cool thing because now you get a chance to talk about it on a regular basis. And so what I did is I changed the way I was going to do things. And I was like, we're professional athletes. I've been there before. I've been at the highest, the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows. But the cool thing about it is that now I sort of make it a game and make it fun for myself to try to do. But just do the best I can for myself.
So let's get on the field here, and everyone in Kansas City is super confident, I think, that you're going to beat the Bucs and Tom Brady. But the concern is, how do you replace Eric Fisher? If they say, hey, Will, you got to go move over to left tackle after playing right guard every single – is this possible? Are they going to be able to pull this off?
You can do it, but it's ugly. It's going to be really tough to do. I think that's one thing that I've actually experienced that before in my lifetime of being able to play. And they go, oh, yeah, by the way, you're going to start at left tackle this week because all the other guys are hurt and injured. You can make it happen. It's not going to be as pretty as you want it to be, but you got to get some help here and there. So you got to have a tight end chip or fullback chip, somebody going through the B gap. Plus, with the way that the Chiefs run offense, you got to realize that there's always a moving piece to it. And what you can't do is let the defense sort of gear in on you. And I think that's one of those things that make a big difference as far as having all those moving pieces, having the Tyreek Hills of the will and Hardman and those guys that's got to show up big and make things happen right now at the line of scrimmage.
See, and I keep hearing that, well, we've got Patrick Mahomes and he will just make it work and he's elusive, so this really won't matter. But this is the way you beat Kansas City, right? Getting to Mahomes, making him uncomfortable. That I don't think you can rely on Tom Brady putting up 40 here. But if they can limit the Chiefs' offense, then that would be the way the nightmare, I guess, would happen for KC.
Well, and you got to realize this on the other side of it is that more or less, if they can run the ball, if the Bucs can run the ball, that's another key component to keeping the Chiefs' offense off the field, and then being able to sort of limit what you can do makes a big difference also. And so those are a couple of different ways that you have to look at it. And then you just hope the explosiveness on the Chiefs side is enough to make it happen to where you can get those big plays and still put up the points that need to happen to win a Super Bowl.
And Tampa can run it, and the Chiefs' run defense hasn't been elite or maybe not even that great. So how concerned are you that Tampa will actually be able to control the clock?
Well, anytime you got Tom Brady back there, he figures out a way to sort of grind it out one way or another, get it down to where there's only one drive left at the end of the game and he wants the ball in his hand. And I think that's where, if you're a Chiefs fan, you've seen the Chiefs do it over and over again, but you've seen Tom Brady do it for 20 years. And so if you're a Chiefs fan, you're like, look, I don't want it to be a 7-point game going into the last drive of the fourth quarter. You want to be up 14, maybe 21 to make sure that you do have the victory in the bag by that point.
So how confident are you, Will, that the Chiefs will come out on top?
The Chiefs are an unbelievable team of what they're doing and how they're able to mix bag everything together. And I think they're pretty confident of how they can, have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl.
All right, I got a couple of things here with your career. Number one, you play with Montana,
yep.
And everyone says that Tom's the GOAT, but there's some out there that say, hey, man, Joe Montana, he's got to be right there. I don't, you had him at obviously the back end of his career, but, experience of playing with Montana, where do you think he ranks all time? What would you say?
Montana's an awesome player. The cool thing about it is that being there even at they call it the twilight years of his career, he took us to a championship game. And being able to do that was amazing, even though, he left one team, went to another, and it still take us to the championship game. But just watching how he did his job and all the little intricate details he knew, that he could actually inform you of stuff while he was playing that would help you out. And that's really cool about it. And I think, each one of these guys have their own merit of being the greatest player that ever played the game. Now, the question is, you got a guy that's dominated for about 20 years. That's tough to do. And so you can't go back and say, okay, this guy is better than that guy. You can just say, hey, every era had their guy that was really good and really great. But this guy has actually set the standard for every other guy that comes after you. And so you have to sort of follow suit.
Have you allowed yourself to think, man, if I played with Patrick Mahomes for my entire career, how many Super Bowls or at least shot at a Super Bowl you would have had? Because, you guys had a lot of, at least early in your career, a lot of tough playoff losses.
It would have been fun to play with Patrick back there, having him being back there to run around and do those things that he does. But he does have some weapons that are unbelievable, too, that makes that life a little easier. So, it's a combination of, hey, can I pick this person from that year, this from that one, this from that one, put the best team together, then you'd have a lot of fun with it. But he does have great weapons around him that sort of helps him out a little bit. But he is an extreme talent that I can't wait to watch for the next years to come.
So it sounds like you think the guys maybe are getting a little bit undersold, and Mahomes, as great as he is, maybe guys around him aren't getting enough credit.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but you got to have a trigger man. You got to have somebody to follow. You got to have somebody that's going to lead them into that. As they say, greatness beget greatness. And so if you've got one that can pull everybody else along, then, they're the top dog. They're the ones that get everybody going. And what I like about this team is watching them play together. When they're having fun together, it's pretty amazing to watch what they can do. And that's one thing about them is that they're enjoying while they're playing the game.
We had Willie Rofe on earlier in the week. He called the Chiefs America's team. What do you think?
I don't like that mantra of America's team. I think it's the Midwest team that's being able to play and dominate and do the things that needed to be, that needs to be done. And that's what I like about it. And I never, that America's team thing is just sort of that mantra that people want to build onto it. I think they're a very dominant team, and hopefully they'll be dominant for the next few years to come.
Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce. You can only have one. Who are you picking?
I go with TG. Yeah, I go with TG. I know TG well, and not take anything from Kelce. Kelce is a great tight end. But as they say, each era changes. You throw more balls to you, you do more things. They're both great guys, and you love watching each of them play.
Yeah. You can't argue with that. TG had an absolutely incredible career. So give me Marty was just a guy that so many people in Kansas City, all over the NFL, love Denver, the whole thing. So I don't know, the best thing for you coming in the league, playing with Marty, what did he mean to you?
The best thing is that he actually was part of the group that drafted me there. So, I have to say that he was the one that gave me an opportunity to basically break my way into the NFL. And as we went to the East-West Shrine game, and the Chiefs was the only team that gave me an interview. that actually sat down and talked to the coaches. And I sat next to Marty, and, he asked questions of like, what do you plan on doing?